Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most unique, entertaining, and compelling sports talk podcast you'll ever listen to.
Let's be great. Let's be great.
Wendell's World in Sports with the one and only Wendell Wallace.
Giannis charging down the lane to the rim, double clutch, no good, tipped in. Giannis tipped it home.
Subscribe, rate, and review anywhere and everywhere you listen to this and all your favorite podcasts. And now, from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, Rip, Roaring, and ready to rumble, Wendell Wallace.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday Season. Wendell's World in Sports. Yours truly, Wendell Wallace. So glad that you could be with us. Just giving you a quick what's up. Just giving you a quick bonjour, bonsoir, que pasa, good morning, good aba, namaste, konnichiwa, shalom, wassalamu alaikum. To all the folks out there listening to my podcast, watching this video. This is kind of like a quick little what's up, what's happening of what I do on a regular basis with my podcast. All you need to do, I'm asking you to do me this favor. You go ahead. You download WENDELL''S World and Sports. Download, rate, review, subscribe, follow, and enjoy the most unique, entertaining, thought-provoking sports talk podcast that you can listen to. Give it to you with passion. Give it to you with everything I got. And I try to play the hits as much as I can. And when the social issues of the world come permeating into what's happening on the ball courts, on the football field, on the baseball diamond, in the octagon, in the boxing ring and such, I give it to you, give you my thoughts and opinions on that also, not shying away from those type of things also. So just giving you a quick preview of what I'm going to be putting down on my next podcast. Is going to be coming out either this Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to be speaking about what happened in the NFL. I'm going to be speaking about the good win by the Indianapolis Colts, and encouraging win for the Indianapolis Colts. If you saw the game over the faltering, failing Arizona Cardinals, 22-23, 22-16, something like that. I'm recording this just as a couple hours the game is over. I have the Utah Jazz and the Dallas Mavericks basketball game over on the over in the other room. But good win, and it was a good win for the Indianapolis Colts. Why? Because Carson Wentz made plays when he needed to make plays. And it was a situation for the game that the Arizona Cardinals says, we are not going to let Jonathan Taylor beat us. No way, no how. So it was up to Carson Wentz, especially late in the third, going into the fourth quarter, to make plays. And after an average start to the game, first and second quarter, then a shaky start of the third quarter, Carson Wentz started making plays for him. He started throwing the ball downfield more. There were chunk plays that he made. And while, as I mentioned before, after the 47-yard run, Jonathan Taylor never really got going, the record of the Colts remaining undefeated when Jonathan Taylor ran for 100 yards is there, but this wasn't a game that was dominated by Jonathan Taylor. This is the type of game that the Indianapolis Colts is going to live up to my prediction and be the team of the wild card teams that are going to be able to make it to the Super Bowl. Carson Wentz is going to have to play the same way today as he did, or same way going forward as he did in the second half. So it was a good, solid win by the Indianapolis Colts. As I mentioned before, the Arizona Cardinals now losing 3 in a row. 2 of those 3 losses being at home. No shame in losing to the Los Angeles Rams in a competitive game. No shame in losing to the Indianapolis Colts in a competitive game. Shameful, embarrassing performance losing to the Detroit Lions on the road. But as I mentioned before, this is an Arizona Cardinals team. If you see them failing, if you see them flailing, if you see them go out on a whimper this season, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't have any inside information. I don't know what the scuttlebutt. I don't know what the rumor mill out there in Phoenix, Arizona and surrounding areas. I don't know concerning this football team and concerning the relationship that it has, the working relationship that it has with his coach, Cliff Kingsbury. But something tells me, man, it's like if I'm the Chicago Bears, if I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, not that I would want Cliff Kingsbury to be my head coach, but if things go sour quickly, and let's just say, for instance, that Cliff Kingsbury is relieved of his duties of being the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. If I'm Jacksonville and if I'm Chicago, I don't want Cliff Kingsbury as my head coach. I wouldn't mind having him as my offensive coordinator, though, depending upon what direction these teams go in as a head coach. The Jaguars and the Bears, depending upon which direction they go as a head coach. If they're going to get a guy who might be defensive oriented and such, then he would probably want to take a strong look at possibly interviewing Cliff Kingsbury for the job, because with Jacksonville and Chicago, you have two young quarterbacks who are going to be the faces of the franchises, speaking of Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, and you want to give them the best opportunity to make sure that they succeed, especially if you're speaking about a historic franchise like the Chicago Bears, where it was reported in the Undefeated, where, man, not only is Matt Nagy's job in jeopardy, but we're also talking about the general manager, Ryan Pace. We're also talking about the president of football operations. So the McCaskies are looking to possibly just clean out the whole deal and start from jump Getty to get this thing right. So, for the sake of Justin Fields in Chicago, for the sake of Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence with that organization, you have to do everything humanly possible to center your thoughts and your goals and your plans and your future plans and everything that you need to do around the enhancement and the possibilities of getting the most out of Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. I'm not saying that Cliff Kingsbury would come in to be the best offensive coordinator going, but with his offensive background, his work with Kyler Murray, his work with Patrick Mahomes, I know Justin Fields might be a little bit different breed of quarterback than Kyler Murray, but he still has the athleticism, especially when you're speaking about Jacksonville, and you're speaking about how that will work Cliff Kingsbury's offensive system with someone like a Trevor Lawrence. But I would just at least interview the guy. I would just give him a look-see to see what he's talking about before I move on and go in another direction. So that's what I'm going to be speaking about concerning that. I'm going to be speaking about what the outcome of the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots game is going to be. There's some other good games. If you're listening to this on a Sunday morning, that there's some games that I'm going to be talking about on my next podcast. And when I get into my NBA talk, man, just to end my little foray into video YouTubing with my preview of what I'm going to be speaking about on my podcast, Wendell's World of Sports. The one thing, man, with the Los Angeles Lakers, good Lord have mercy. Now, I just watched them play a very snooze-fest game. How about the NBA? Very apropos of the NBA to let you know what kind of organization they are, what kind of league they run when it comes to their promotion. And yes, I know that the schedules were made way in advance, so we didn't know the situation with COVID. We didn't know the situation with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving missing the game, and everybody that's in the that's put on the down low because of the COVID protocol. So, yes, I know the NBA, when they made the schedule in July, couldn't foresee that this was going to be a game where they were going to have so many starters out. Anthony Davis was going to be out for the Lakers and such, along with the Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant and such. But, man, how was it that the best game of this day, on one of the most important days in the NBA season, man, you have the Golden State Warriors playing the Phoenix Suns, and that's supposed to be the appetizer to the main course being the Los Angeles Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets. Now, again, preseason expectations said that, you know what the Golden State Warriors were all about, they weren't going to be this good. What happened last season with the Phoenix Suns making it to the NBA Finals, that was a fluke because they made it to the Finals thanks to the Los Angeles Clippers not having Kawhi Leonard, the Denver Nuggets not having Jamal Murray, the Los Angeles Lakers not having a healthy Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So it was sort of a fluke. It was a situation where that's not going to happen again. But you go into the season, man, you go into this Christmas Day and you have a situation where the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns not only are the two best teams in the league, but they also play two of the best brands of basketball for those who are just casual basketball fans. When you're speaking about entertainment value, I don't care if you did have a healthy Kevin Durant and a healthy Anthony Davis going up against LeBron and those such. I don't give a damn. The best game of the day should have been prime time, but instead, because of the anticipation when they made the schedule that LeBron was going to be going up against Kevin Durant, and the NBA is all based on when they're promoting their game, not about the team itself, but also mainly the players that they struck out and whiffed. I just wish that somehow, some way they could have flip-flopped those games. Yeah, Brooklyn and L.A. turned out to be a halfway decent game after Brooklyn almost blew a 20-something point lead. But after watching that game concerning Golden State and Phoenix, you tell me which was the better game. You tell me, if you were running the league and you were trying to make the most money as possible and you were trying to get the most most eyeballs to watch your sport and the most visibility, the most positive visibility, you're going to try to tell me that the Golden State Warriors versus the Phoenix Suns, as we know them right now, should not have been on prime time? You still have Steph Curry, one of the most charismatic, one of the most well-known athletes on the planet today, and you're going to put that game as the appetizer to a snooze fest, which was James Harden going old school Houston, even though he passed the ball a little bit more than he did in Houston. But you had that game between Brooklyn and LA being the main course. All right. So I'll go ahead and I'll talk about what's happening with the Lakers. Now losers of 5 straight. You can sit there and talk about injuries. You can sit there and talk about Vogel being out. You can sit there and talk about COVID. You can sit there, like LeBron was saying, after they got embarrassed by giving up 138 on, what was that, on Thursday night against the San Antonio Spurs, in a game where from jump Getty they weren't competitive. You can speak about we haven't had time to gel, and you can speak about we haven't had a rotation. We hadn't had players ready to really give us an identity of what we need to do and where we need to go. But the Lakers are in trouble. The Lakers are in big trouble. And yes, I know we haven't even reached the halfway point of the season, but man, the Lakers are in trouble, because you tell me anybody on that team, and you can talk about, well, Kid Bazemore isn't there, and Avery Bradley's not there, and your quote-unquote defensive stoppers. If you're relying on Trevor Ariza, if you're relying on Ariza and Avery Bradley and Kent Bazemore to be your defenders who are going to catapult you to the elite, to be able to compete on a consistent basis in a 7-game series with the Utah Jazz and the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors, good luck on that one. The Lakers are old. The Lakers can't shoot consistently from the outside. The Lakers are unathletic. The Lakers are slow. The Lakers' transition defense is beyond atrocious. You've got LeBron playing 30-something minutes a game. You got AD out for another 3.5 weeks with an injury. You've got Russell Westbrook still trying to acclimate himself to the offense and to the defense and to what LA is doing, and he's not the same Russell Westbrook that he's been for the last couple of years. Lakers have some problems. The Lakers have some trouble. So I will be getting into all that on my podcast, which is coming up, Wendell's World of Sports. So I am out of here. I am going to go back because there's 2:53 left to go in the fourth quarter with the Utah Jazz up by 5, 112-107 over the Dallas Mavericks. So I want to watch the ending of that game. I mean, here's a game with Dallas and Utah, and there's no Luka Doncic playing. God damn it. So entertaining game, good day. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. I hope everybody had a wonderful day. Merry Christmas. If I don't speak to you until then, have a happy New Year's Eve. Don't do anything stupid. So this is Wendell Wallace of Wendell's World of Sports saying peace.